Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Michelle Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. I am your host, Michelle Pope, and it is always a great honor to come and join you and to bring you new information and just to share. We've had so many guests that we're so thankful for that have come and shared their expertise, wisdom, and knowledge. And today we have a good friend, a friend that have been a part of the Life is a Sacred Journey since its inception over a decade ago when we were a podcast on radio only. And so I want to tell you why first. So I'm going to give you a little bit. Carolyn Brent is one, a member of our board. She is our board president, but she's also a world-renowned speaker. She has a doctorate degree. She has written many, many books on self-help, caregiving. She started a university of greater thinking and healthcare. She was a bodybuilder. She still continues to practice holistic health. But Carolyn has an incredible story to tell, and we decided that we wanted to tape this and then share it with you because the world is a changing. I want to share some numbers with you before I open her camera up that there are adults are being targeted for fraud in the United States and throughout the global world, and there have been just in 2022 88,262 complaints of fraud, resulting in 3.1 billion losses, particularly in people over the age of 60. The common financial, they target you, or what they will do, as you will soon hear, they impersonate you. It's called the impersonation scam. And they will impersonate you and get your social security, get access to your accounts, the sweepstakes scams, the robocall scams. Financial crimes are affecting every single person across the United States and the global world. Carolyn Brent has been one of those people where her identity has been attacked. And I just want to read one more thing to you. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation Internet Crime Complaint Center, in 2022, there were so many, 82% of the losses to people was through the stealing and impersonation of their identity. Carolyn Brent has worked hard for her identity and for who she is, and she has been experiencing impersonation scam, which has led to financial ramifications and just a terrible time in her life. So Carolyn Brent, welcome back to Life is a Sacred Journey. It's been quite some time. It's so good to have you here.
Thank
And
you.
I just want to start by saying thank you for sharing your story. You know, I was thinking about you before this podcast. And, you know, when you think about it from this perspective, once upon a time, there was a woman by the name of Carolyn Brent. She became Dr. Carolyn Brent. She wrote books that she wanted to help the world and help others who were going through caregiving or just as they were aging to learn to love themselves again, to use mindfulness, to use everything that she had done in her life to express to others how they might be on this wonderful quest, this wonderful journey. She did it by becoming a bodybuilder, writing books that are amazing. I have a few of them over here in my bookcase. And then something happened where all of a sudden, and even though it probably wasn't all of a sudden to you, but from those of us on the outside looking in, all of a sudden your website looked different. All of a sudden your Facebook looked different. All of a sudden we couldn't contact you.
Yes.
So Carolyn, thank you for being here at Life is a Sacred Journey again. Thank you for everything that you're doing. But today the spotlight is on what has happened to you over with this impersonation scam and the impact of it on your life. So I'm going to turn it over to you. How did this all begin? How did this all begin?
Well, first of all, Michelle, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my personal story, because all my books are based on personal personal experience, and then I stack it all with evidence. So before I get started sharing the story, I want to really, really make it clear. I believe that God has allowed me to go through this because AI, artificial intelligence, is brand new. Every time you go shopping or any place you go, they want two things from you. What's your phone number and what's your email address? And I want the world to know I haven't had a regular phone, in almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in August. I haven't had an email address. I'm talking about one without getting hacked. And since August of 2022. And I know the people that have targeted me, but it's all for the greater good, because I had to change my attitude. First, I felt like I was a victim, and I had to tell myself, no, I've been victimized, but I'm a fighter. That's why I'm an elder care legislation advocate. I didn't name myself that. I was named it was Wikipedia that said you're doing all these things for seniors. And when I started helping seniors, Michelle, I was not a senior. I was in my 40s. Now I'm that senior that I'm protecting. I'm 67 years old and proud of it. And I will continue to fight this world of new technology that is literally victimizing our most vulnerable population, which are our seniors. So that's why I believe God gave me that assignment to write books, to do a movie, because this has been going on literally since 2022, as far as, and I'm going to start the story. Michelle, can you imagine waking up one day and you go to your computer like we all do, or go to your phone like we all do, and your computer is wiped clean? The only thing that was on my computer was the screensaver. And I started messing around with the computer thinking, well, there got to be a fluke. What's up with my computer? Then I said, okay, my computer's acting crazy. Let me go to my laptop. The laptop was wiped clean. And then I started to panic. This was, again, August of 2022. Then I said, oh my goodness. Then I picked up my phone. I said, oh my God, my phone is wiped clean. And Michelle, what makes it so bad, when I went to the police to tell them what had happened to me, they said, well, there's nothing we could do because we have to see Did you see the person? No. I said, it's internet. Well, we don't deal with internet identity theft. And I'm thinking it was a one day hit. They've been hitting me since August 2022 because I'm in a court battle with the person that's been stealing my identity since 2016. I had no idea that my impact on the world as a writer, 29 publications worldwide in over 1,700 libraries globally, I had no idea that someone liked what I was doing enough to steal it. I was wiped clean off of all of the social media, wiped clean off all of everything I've ever published, blocked from, and I was in Florida at the time, and I did not know what to do, so I couldn't contact any of my family or friends, including you. I couldn't even contact you, Michelle.
I know, I remember this. Yeah.
So what I did, I put all my things in storage. I hopped in my car without a phone, and I drove 3,400 miles without a phone from Florida to California because I wanted people to know, my family, friends to know, this is what has happened to me. And the doorstep that I knocked on when I first got in town, the person, she said, oh my God, Carolyn, I've been looking for you. I haven't seen you. She said, I started looking in the obituaries when I saw the last time you posted anything on Facebook was August 2022. I said, I'm alive, but I'm a target. And again, I'm in court right now because of the people. They just want to stop me. But guess what? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am a fighter. I'm an elder care legislation advocate, but I had no idea that I would be advocating for me. And that's what, and I want to get laws in place to protect anyone that's online. There should be some type of protection because right now there isn't. So the criminals, instead of going to the bank with their guns like they used to, they're just sitting behind, hunched over their computers like this, and they are robbing people blind. But again, because I have the knowledge to write and I have the knowledge to fight, they picked on the wrong senior because, Michelle, this is not my life forever. This is a temporary battle because I've already won the war in my mind. That's why they haven't been able to get rid of me. And that's my story. People, I know that people have said, well, Carolyn, did you press this button? What did you do? When it's organized crime, you don't have to press a button. But I really, really share with people that in my case, I thought I went to Apple. I went to Apple and I said, before the hit came on me, this is all pre-planned. Before I got hit, I went to Apple and said, my computer's acting funny. So I bought a brand new computer, which took 2 months for them to ship me. And I thought, something's wrong with this. Why is it taking me 2 months to get a computer? Once again, I was a target. So I was set up for this whole thing. And then once I got my new computer, Apple Store said, well, you have to do remote. You gotta do it on remote because we're not going to do this in the store. And that's what happened to me. I went on remote, and guess what? The hackers were eagerly waiting for me to press the button and to give them access to my computer. And that's how they got my stuff.
So they started with identity, where where I said, like, I went to your website, and when I couldn't get to you, and I noticed it was not as clean, it wasn't your website basically, but it had your pictures and so what do they call that? Is that a dummy website, or what did they do to?
What they did, they totally destroyed my website. If a person goes to caregiverstory.com, they're going to get a message that says, not a secure website. You get on it at your own risk. So guess what? A person's not going to press their button where there's a red sign saying this website is infected. Nobody's going to press it. But you know what? The website can be replaced. Everything can be replaced. My intellectual property is up here. They can't have that because I'm fighting them. So it's the stuff that they took, and stuff can be replaced. And that's what they don't realize. It's a temporary situation because eventually this is going to have an end. And I've collected so much phenomenal information to share with the world. I'm going to share on what to do, how to navigate, how to get. Today I went and I met with my banker, and guess what? He's over. I've had two, I'm not going to talk about the institutions, but two major institutions for over 30 years. I had to shut my banking institutions down and go to another one. I had to shut down the only 2 credit cards I had, credit score of 850. I had money in the bank. I had to shut it all down because everyone has heard of the black web or the dark web.
Yeah.
All that's true. The dark web is true. And
so the attack happens, you figure it out after you look at your screen, and you figure out something's not right. And then you reported it, and then there's nobody to really, excuse me, from the police department or wherever to go in and stop it, because they protected themselves, from being seen. So this has been going on then, if you say for this piece of it, for 2 years?
Okay, here's the evidence. This is police reports, FBI reports, and this is in the small version. I mean, everything's on here, literally. So, I've been going to the FBI, to the attorney generals, police state. I've done it all. And this is what I realize. These institutions, they protect people with billions of dollars or millions of dollars. They go after that. They don't have the manpower to go after someone like me, or to protect
Okay.
someone like me, the average private citizen. So I'm considered a private citizen, but the hit that was on me wanted to stop my voice. I cannot be stopped, Michelle. Michelle, my father used to tell me this, and this is a quote that I will take it to my grave. My father has said, and it's written in all my books, no excuses. Find a way. Believe in a miracle. Press on till you win.
Yeah.
Don't quit. So that's my father's voice. And my father used to tell me when I was growing up, he would go, Carolyn A, he used to call me Carolyn A. Carolyn A, you're going to be super successful because you don't know how to quit. And he's right. I do not know how to quit. So
Well, you earned all that. You did the work. You're the one. And to have somebody come in from behind the scenes, take that, or to rob you, because I'm going to use the word rob you of it, has caused, I'm sure, I know for me, I'd be going ballistic, but that razor sharp focus
yes.
towards getting to the end of it, resolving it. But you had to have some moments, though, Carolyn, where you thought, why me?
Oh, I had a lot of moments like that. When it first happened, I didn't know what was going on. And then I would call, when I was able to call a few people, the first thing they said is, Carolyn, are you sure you're not working too hard? Are you sure? I've never heard of anything like this, Carolyn. So they're like questioning your mind.
Yeah.
But because of this is written in all my books as well. I am laser focused and I have bottomless discipline. And when you are laser focused with bottomless discipline, you're not going to let evil, a nefarious gang member or criminals steal from you. You will fight. And that's what I will do because, again, I believe I was assigned to, I had to change my thinking because it was depressing. And then I had to go, wait a minute, Carolyn, think of all the books you wrote when you're telling people that they got to be laser focused. Think of all the books that you wrote when you said, one of the books that I wrote is Transforming Your Life Through Self-Care, a guide to tapping into your deep beauty and inner work. When I was 60 years old, I knew in order to write that book, I needed to go on stage in the fitness arena. So I had to become laser focused. And the way I became laser focused, I had to mentally see myself winning #1 in my category. So although I wasn't #1 at the time, I was working through it and it was hard to work through it. And of course, because of my relationship with God, God saw me through. And when I got on stage 9 months later, because mentally, I had already seen myself winning. So when I won that trophy, I kissed it up to God and said, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Dad. And that's the attitude, Michelle, that I have to take with all this wealth of information. This is knowledge.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help people because, again, I had to change my attitude from a negative thinking when people, and I'm talking about the institutions going, well, we got to see a person. Well, we got to see a person because we don't see a person. There's really nothing we could do, but we'll write a report for you. And I said, keep writing the reports because this is going to be my evidence to let a person know that you can't quit. You got to find a way. And then with this book, and also there will be a movie made with this book, it'll help guide a person with what to do and what not to do. I've had at least 25 of those. They call it throwaway phones. I got to tell you that they're worthless. And let me tell you why they're worthless. Because I've discovered through all my research that anytime there's a phone with a SIM card in it, SIM cards can be cloned. So, but in my case, because I'm a target, They're cloning my phone, so they're listening in on my conversations to know what my next move is. But Michelle, God already prepared me for this season because in 2016, I literally got rid of all my televisions, in which I've talked about many times on your show. And then moving to Florida for 10 years, I was pretty much isolated because I was writing. So I
Yeah.
never was the type that was going to get on the phone and hang out on the phone for 25 hours because I was laser focused with writing.
Right.
So again, the criminals picked on the wrong person. I don't watch TV anyway, so I didn't, that was something I didn't do. One other thing, I'm not a telephone, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't do that. With Facebook, don't miss it because I couldn't stand putting things on there. Anyway, I did it because I felt compelled to, but I don't miss the social media. That is not where my clients came from. My clients came
Right.
from like your show, CBS, NBC, speaking at universities and creating a Deep Beauty Health and Wellness University. This is going to be part of a university course. It's going to help anyone. And Michelle, I have to really say this, and I know I'm talking a lot, but
That's okay.
people think that it's just seniors that's getting attacked. But the statistics will show the greatest population that's getting hit with cyber identity theft are the people between the ages of 25 to 45.
Yeah.
Because guess what? They're on social media 24/7. They're walking around like this.
Yeah.
So because I don't have a phone that's secure, I won't have a hunchback looking at a phone. That's not my life. So I don't even miss not having a phone. Matter of fact, Michelle, what the evil meant for horrible, it turned for the good because now I get to go and see people, hug, touch people, love on people. They see me, I see them. It's beautiful. And no one will stop what God has ordained for me to do. So I want to tell your listening audience, because everybody's going to tell you, oh, I know that's happened to someone that they know. My case is very extreme because I've been going through it for almost 2 years. And I want your audience to know that's why you haven't seen me, because I've been fighting this battle. But I've already won the war because I have all the evidence. And also, I'm not going to tell you what state bar. If you have problems with an attorney, report them to the state bar. And that's what I did. So guess what? That's where my help came from too. So Michelle, I want to say I love you and I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be on your show, to share with somebody that feels hopelessness. I don't feel hopelessness. Call Michelle. Michelle will get in contact with me and I will walk you through it, because my book isn't ready yet, but it will be out next year. And then because the story is so outrageous, I want people to know my identity has been stolen from the same person since 2016. And it's never stopped. It's just gotten worse to this. So some people have said, well, don't you feel good that someone, admires you so much that they wanted to be you? And I'm going to say, heck no. That doesn't feel good at all. But what it's done is made me laser focused with bottomless discipline to help others, because that is what I was born to do. That's my passion. This is a subject matter is so new. There's no, and those of you who are raving about AI, AI. I went to, and Michelle, you know about this, when the Google speaker spoke about AI and how it's excellent for technology and medicine, and how if a person doesn't have vocal cords, they could use their eyes to speak for them. That's fabulous. But then there's a flip side. The criminals are taking what was created for good and they're using it to go after people like me.
Yep. And the other side I want to speak to, because I know about this, is that that there was a point that you didn't feel believed by the very people who could help you. That there's this overwhelming, overarching thought process that people have in the what I call the legal arena, police, whatever they are, but they're legal
Yeah.
peacemakers, keepers
Yes.
of the peace, to go in and tell your story, but yet people looking at you and going, "Are you sure? Do you know this person? Like you're a part of this whole
Yeah.
thing happening to you when in fact it's tearing you apart." You're like, "Wait a minute, hold up. I can't even get access to my money. I'm bu- 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 bu-" But then that look, because
Yes.
I have to, full transparency, friends, I was present with Carolyn in one of those meetings, and I almost wanted to get up and smack that person, because I even said to the person, "You're acting like this woman is crazy
Yes.
when these are things that have occurred in her life. Treat her with respect." So I want to talk a little bit about it, have you talk a little bit about
Yes.
that, because it's demoralizing
It
to not
is.
be believed.
Yes. And that's what the criminals want
They count
people
on
to
it, right?
do. They count on that. And then if a person, I'm not going to say weak-minded because I can't use that word, but if a
No,
person loses hope, if the victim loses hope, that's when they just, we may see them on the street. We may see them in these shelters. We may see them, they're called what's the new name for homeless? They call them
shelter.
unsheltered.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. But Michelle, that's why I know God anointed and appointed me, because I'm saying, oh, no, 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 I'm coming after you. And it's just like going back to my caregiving days. There was no books on the market about adult sibling rivalry with caregiving. And when I wrote the very first book and tried to get a publishing deal, the publisher said, oh, it's not a sexy subject. That's why nobody's ever written about it. Now you can find a million caregiver books. The reason why my work exploded, because I was first to market with it.
Yeah.
And this right here, the same thing, because the criminals, they have no boundaries. I'll just put it this way. When it's all over and said and done with, people are going to realize, you know what? I should have listened to this woman, or I really don't care what they think, but I know that there's going to be some people that are exposed. I'm exposing them now. That's why one of the, state bars are honing in, because they're going, oh my goodness, they're looking at the actual evidence of what I sent them. Because I figure, my father always said there's several ways to skin I'm not going to use the word, it's a three-letter word. So, because I don't want to offend any animal users, but that's what my father used to tell me. So I look at, if one thing doesn't work, I'm going to try something else. I'm
Yeah.
going to keep trying forever,
Right.
because no one has the right to steal my joy. And that's why I could be on your show. And I don't look crazy. I actually look normal, quite normal. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes,
I
you
won't
do.
let nobody steal what God has ordained me to do. So I want your listening audience to know, if you know someone that is going through identity theft, you
Yes.
have to encourage them. Don't question them and re-victimize them. Be supportive. Another thing I wanted to talk to the people that are victimized. I have a whole network of people that are helping me. One person is helping me with housing. Another person is helping me with transportation, helping get, well, it's actually, I'll put it, Mercedes. They've helped me. How often will Mercedes give you anything for free? Come on, Michelle, let's talk about this.
Yeah, no, that's not their
Zero. But one time I took my car in, no charge, because they saw what I was talking about. I had, it's cyber SOS thing on my car. They took all that stuff out. Yes, hackers, they took it out. So the bottom line is that God will put certain people in your life to help you. I have someone spiritually that helps to guide me. I keep involved. I'm the president of the Alzheimer's of East Bay. Thank you, Michelle, for the opportunity, for believing in me. And I stay laser focused to help and do what I need to do for the organization, because everything in life, you got to remember, you can't go by your feelings. I used to ask my dad this question: Dad, how are you doing today? He said he never answered the question. He would say, Carolyn A, I don't go by my feelings. And now I understand what he means, because if I went by my feelings, I probably would never get out of the bed. But what I do, I tell myself, Carolyn, get up, get out, keep moving, keep moving. And I work out just like I see myself going across the stage. I see the judge hitting the gavel saying guilty as charged. That's what I see. You got to see it. You got to speak it into existence. You got to believe it with that bottomless discipline. And Michelle, I want to thank you. I thank God I chased after you up at the state capitol, because God knew that I needed someone like a Michelle Pope in my life. And Michelle, you know what? It's been years. And
well, we've known each other for a long time. And the reality is, I know how hard you worked for your books, how hard you worked to build your brand, because that's what this is about. It's about building your brand, and then to have someone swoop in and do nothing but push a bunch of buttons, and put in a bunch of binary codes to avail themselves of your hard work, and then take credit for it, is really, it's disheartening. But it can happen to anyone. I've had someone scam my account. I've had people call me on the phone and even here to tell me that there's something that I haven't done, but yet it didn't sound right. And then I'd go back and look, and I had done it. I had paid for it. But if I had gotten scared, what you're talking about, and gotten nerved up, I would have given them money that they didn't,
absolutely.
that ASAP wasn't responsible for. But they're out there.
Yes.
And they're reading your emails. Now, Carolyn, I learned about this, and you can tell me, you talked about not having a television, but many of our folks out there have new televisions, right? You know, the big screen TVs, and they stream now. You don't have to even have a cable line. You just have to have internet. So here we are streaming. Well, I realized that when I talked to somebody about that today, that your cell phone, if you're near that television, your cell phone is being picked up by the television and anything that's streaming behind the scenes in the television, which means this is where I want you to notice this, friends. And I turn my phone off, and that's why I apologize to many of you who feel like you call me and you don't get a hold of me. Well, after a certain time, when I'm starting to be in my house, navigating my personal life, I turn my cell phones off.
Yes.
I turn my laptop off.
Yes.
I turn whatever internet, sci-fi, World Wide Web crap that I own, it gets turned off, including Alexa.
Okay, let's pause there for 1 second. That's really, really powerful. The mistake I made, this is a huge mistake. Because I was a writer, I always left everything on. Everything was on. I had my bank accounts, everything was exposed. All of my codes were there, so I could just press a button and just go and do my checkings account and do everything. That was what I did wrong. And I'm telling everyone, what you do, shut everything down. Do not save your passcodes. No place. Don't even sell it. The cloud is the worst place you could go, because that's what
they want everybody in the iCloud. They want you to have all your data in the cloud. If it's in a cloud, what do clouds do? Float around. Okay,
and what they did in my case, they took my cloud. The hackers took my cloud, and when I went to Apple, say, well, I need my cloud back. Well, what's your passcode? Well, they stole my passcode. Well, we can't authenticate you. Sorry. And that's all they could tell me is, sorry, we can't help you. That's what happened to me. So I tell people, shut everything off. Do not save your passcodes. Get the rotating passcode. There's apps out there that will rotate your passcode every 10 minutes. You've got to do it, protect yourself, because guess what? It's gonna get worse, not any better.
Worse, friends. The other thing is, I don't use ever since I had cancer in 2016, I don't microwave my food. So my microwave is just a thing at my house. So what I do at night, I not only turn my cell phone off, but I put my cell phone in the microwave.
Perfect.
Because nothing can get in there.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you really feel like, now you're going to have to remember not to turn the microwave on with your stuff in it, because it will blow up, okay? But if you put a Post-it note, or if you're like me and you don't use your microwave, but you inherit it, or it's been with you for a while, put all your stuff in there. Everything fits in my microwave.
Yeah.
Okay.
It acts as a barrier.
It's a barrier, and it's a barrier that can't be breached because of the walls that are around it, so that you don't get electric shock treatments and all that.
Well, also, Michelle, because you travel all the time, you asked me about the bag my carry-on bag.
Yes, tell me about that.
Well, the carry-on bag, it has a special compartment specifically for cell phones that has a barrier to block anybody that may be in an airport that's trying to get data on your phone. It blocks it. So I encourage everyone that's listening, if you're traveling, either get yourself a fanny pack that blocks the internet from taking your data, and also get yourself a carry-on. And the one that I was sharing with Michelle is called London Fog, and it's specifically for carry-on, and it has safety measures. Also, Michelle, you talked about Alexis. Let me tell you about Alexis. Alexis is hearing everything that's going on. And the phone, I name it the enemy in your pocket. That's what it is. Because if a person's a target like I was, my phone told them everything on all my locations, what I like to buy, what I like to eat, where I like to spend my money. And a wallet. Okay, I've never had a phone wallet before, but the phone wallets are extremely dangerous, everyone. And the reason why I say that, the hackers took my credit card and made 17 wallets. Guess what? It was over $8,000 worth of merchandise or crazy stuff. So of course I had to go and file for reports with the bank. And the bank, they know what's going on. They know what's going on, but in order for you to get any remedy, you got to have some fight in you, because I'm still dealing with the banks. But guess what? I'm never going to quit. I'm not going to stop. Okay, think about this. We talked about Wendy Williams. There was one key thing she said in her documentary that will stick with me forever. She said, if this could happen to me, it could happen to you. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
So don't think that it's because people want to always blame the victim, like the victim's done something. You don't have to do anything. If someone likes what you've created and they want it, they're going to use internet to steal it. And that's all I got to say.
And you know why my granddaughter is not on internet? Why no one's seen her unless you know me personally, and then I pull out my phone and I'm more than happy to share. But she will never be on internet until she's older baby girl. And it was interesting because my son made the comment to me, is that because if we travel, we're not going to put on, we will never put her on there. But what if somebody decided that they wanted a baby that looked like her or whatever, and that and people, I'm going to tell you something. Carolyn just said it to you, but I'm going to reiterate it because I think it's really important for you to understand.
Yeah.
When the people hit my checking account, and I don't have a lot of money at all. So it damaged me. it damaged me for a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it took forever to get the money back. It took forever to get a card, an ATM card, a credit card. I even had to close down my checking account that I had with my credit union for the entire time for over 30 something years
Yes. Yeah.
and open a new account, which made me start all
All
over.
over.
Now,
That's me.
they do have a link that says that I've been a member since Zippity 80, whatever. But on first glance, I look like a person that's only been a Golden One credit card member for a bank member, whatever, for 4 or 5 years since
Yeah.
this happened.
Yeah.
You know what that means to a person like me who built my credit, who
Yeah.
worked hard on it, after divorce and all of that. It's devastating
It is. It's very
to have
devastating.
somebody do that to you. And then, like you said, Carolyn, well, ma'am, what did you do? Where did you leave it? I didn't leave it nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not even out in the world like that. The other thing that I got was this little sleeve. The Golden One Credit Union gave it to me when I got that's why it's so old and yucky. But it's one of the things that Carolyn is talking about. You can't internet through it. Okay. It doesn't look very like it can, but it does.
Yeah.
So, and you can buy them. Buy something that's going to protect your credit cards or your debit card if you're a person that carries them. Another person told me recently, I shared it with Carolyn before we started this podcast. He told me, stop paying your bills online.
Yes.
I know it's convenient. He said, send them a check.
Yeah. Amen.
Go back to the old way.
Absolutely.
Only because the internet, even though on your check, trust me, there's a routing and a check number,
Yes.
account number. You got to produce a check. And the thing is, a check is no longer just a check. It's got all kinds of data
Yeah.
in this paper.
Yes.
So even if they took all the routing and the I'm gonna turn it this way so you don't see it. All the checking, all the routing, there's stuff in this check
Right.
that would prohibit somebody from copying it
Yeah.
and going to the bank and cashing it.
Well, remember this. Criminals don't want anyone to see their face. So they're not going to go to the bank and try to cash it. They're going to do everything online, period. And the two financial institutions I had to shut down, remember, I do not have email, but someone put an email on both accounts. And when I said, oh my God, look at this, I had to just totally just get rid of the accounts because it was so infected with the evil. And these guys or women, whoever they are ruthless. They don't stop.
No.
But I do have a remedy for your readers or your listeners.
Yes, please.
The one book that really helped me, everyone knows Rachel Maddow on MSNBC. She's a very famous person. She's from Castro Valley. She's been on, she's been an anchor for, who knows, many, many, many years on MSNBC. She actually wrote the foreword for a book called Pegasus. And Pegasus actually helped me to understand what was happening to me. And typically when a person is like a public official or a really, really famous people that have a whole lot to lose, they have all of these different safeguards around them before they even get out. Me, I was just like an open vessel. So the person or the people that use the Pegasus, which is the greatest, the government uses Pegasus in order to spy on like different nations and things like that. That's what happened to me. A Pegasus, a bomb was sent on me. So anytime a person types in or Carolyn A. Brent, there's a little bot that says, oh, there she is over there. There she is over here. Here's her social security. Here's where she is. And they're able to literally remotely find me. And that's what happened to me. I never even thought I had value, that kind of value. But guess what? When you have an EIN number that's stolen, guess what that means to the thieves? Oh, they don't have to pay taxes. And that's what started all of my stuff. My EIN was stolen. I know who stole it. And as a result, that organized crime team did not have to pay taxes. They could, get grants. They could get all these things, and they had to pretend that they were Carolyn A. Brent. So when the IRS was trying to make me pay for something that I didn't do, in 2019, they said, "Oh, you owe us for blah, blah, blah on a nonprofit." Remember, Michelle, I've been going through this forever. So
Yeah.
the IRS made me prove I was innocent, but I had to pay them first and get my money back later. So
Yeah.
the book Pegasus, the most excellent book. There's about close to 400 pages. Michelle, I would not put that book down because I had to understand what I was going through, and it helped me. So that's where, I think when a person educates him or herself, when they have a hit, it'll help them go through the process better. Because when you're hit the way that I've been hit every single day, it'll wear on you after a while.
Oh yes. Oh
But
yeah.
Michelle, I'm not going to quit.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not going to quit.
Well, Carolyn, I am so thankful that you came to Life is a Sacred Journey to share your story first. So when you drop that book, drop the movie, all of that, we will be here applauding you. But if there were one thing that before we close that you can think of that would be the overarching sort of summary for people to understand how important this is, because I think that sometimes people get a little too comfortable with the cell phone.
Yeah.
Like I lost my phone. I lost the phone, and it was an act of Congress to get another one because I decided that I wanted the same phone. But the good news, and a lot of people are mad at me, but I saved nothing in the cloud. So when the phone was lost, unless somebody figures out my password, but it's now all turned off and all of that, even if they had opened it, there's nothing in the cloud. They wouldn't have been able to access the address book. So this is what I want to tell you, people who have been texting me or calling me, and I text you back or call you back and say, or I won't call you back. Let me stop lying. If I text you back because you called me and I say, all I see is your number, and I will not pick up the phone for a number that I don't recognize. And trust me, because I didn't remember your number from the beginning, I don't recognize it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I have written to people and they keep calling me, but that's rude, because if I've asked you for your name, it means I need it.
Yeah.
I needed to be able to respond to you. So I'm going to tell you what happens when you don't respond. I block the number and delete the conversation.
Yeah, that's good. That's really, really
Because
good.
that's how people got into my account the last time.
Right.
They got in because they went through my phone and they went through the cloud, and stupid me did banking on my phone, and that's how they got into my account. So friends, neighbors, countrymen, hear my call. Be careful, but with the way that you use your phone. I save everything to a different spot, and I'm gonna tell you what I did since I lost my phone. I went out and purchased a phone book.
Oh, hallelujah. That's the way to do it. Michelle, we
Write
got
my numbers in.
Okay, Michelle, I'm glad you brought that up because this is very important. People ask me, well, Carolyn, why didn't you put your things on an external drive? Guess what? I did, but they hacked that too. You can have an external drive when someone's after you, they could infect your USB or your external drive. So Michelle, that's key. I have everything on paper the old-fashioned way. And I'll
Yeah.
do that forever. Just because I'm going through this right now, it's taken me back to my comfort zone because I never really wanted to do the online stuff anyway. So now now I know why I never wanted to do it. But Michelle, pick up your phone book again so people can see. That's the way to do it. Put everything in writing. When you have everything in writing, you have it forever. Hard copy.
And
An
your
external drive.
signature and your handwriting even the bestest of person
Yeah.
copy the nuances of your signature and whatever. I have a really easy signature, but let
Yeah.
me tell you something. It's not the same every single time. I looked at it myself the other day and I thought, well, shoot, Michelle, you signed your name differently on Tuesday. You
Right.
see?
Yes.
So it's harder than when you do signature stuff online.
Yes.
Just like
Yes.
my tax guy, I deliver my
That's
papers.
woo.
He has a
Hallelujah.
portal. He's
That's
got
the
a
way to do it.
portal, but I ain't doing. First of all, I'm going to tell you this, and I know, whatever. There's a portal thing that we have to put information in order to keep the state up to date on things that are happening here at ASAP. I will tell you 99% of the time they call us and say, we didn't get your stuff. But as far as our scanner is concerned, it went into the portal.
Yeah.
So if it didn't make it to the portal, where the heck did it go?
You got it. You got it. You got it. Michelle, guess what?
And
You and I have to start legislating because I strongly believe we as a people, we should not have to be forced to go online. And I'm talking about private citizens. We shouldn't
right,
have to be forced to go online in order to live.
right.
So I definitely want to push some legislation that give us a choice. Don't say, well, if you don't. There was one place, a store that I bought some things from, and I always pay cash when I
Yeah.
can. Anyway, I pay cash. They said, well, you can't return it if you don't like it. If you don't give us your phone number or email address, we can't return it. I said, guess what? You will return. Keep it. Just keep it. I'm not going to be forced into giving something that I don't have.
Or now you can't. I went to the restaurant up the street. I was hungry one day, working late, and I walked up there to get something to eat at the restaurant, little Indian restaurant. They don't take cash.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And I don't walk around with my stuff no more because I've
yeah,
lost my card because it fell out of my pocket or
yeah,
whatever. And I couldn't eat there
yeah,
because they wouldn't take
yeah,
cash.
yeah,
And so again, people, we've got to be careful. That's
yes.
what Carolyn is saying. And careful is not even enough.
And Michelle, I do want to share one thing so people won't
No,
get frightened. My case is very extreme. This isn't normal. Only reason why mine is extreme because I have an active court case going on because I know who's doing it. So they've continued to have me as a target so we don't go to trial. So that's why mine is very extreme. So I want people to know mine isn't normal. But I'm glad that I've gone through this because that it's making me an expert because I've had to do the research and everything that's going to help the other people that are victimized.
exactly, exactly. So, friends, we've come to another end of Life is a Sacred Journey. We've had Carolyn Brent, Dr. Carolyn Brent, with us today. You know her from the many times that she has joined us about her books and health and caregiving and giving just great mindfulness tips and all of that. But today she came to share her
Yes.
story about how this incredible modern 21st century that a lot of people are really adapting, that you need to be careful because
Yes.
this item, this
Yes.
wonderful item,
Yeah.
you can lose everything
Yes.
about your identity, your financial identity.
Yes.
I even had somebody take Life is a Sacred Journey, the page, and tried to be me.
Yeah.
And I wrote them and said, please, you don't want to be me. First of all, let me
See,
help
people
you.
don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
You don't
Michelle,
want
I
to
see
be
how
me.
hard you work. I mean, 24/7, but the bottom line is passion. People can't steal passion. And see, that's what the hackers thought they could steal. They thought they could take my stuff, but they can't steal my passion. That's why I'm still here.
Yep.
And I'm not going
And
anyplace.
watch the numbers you answer. This is the thing that I noticed the other day. Somebody called my phone and it was a 1866 number. Okay. because 1-800 is, they don't even get that anymore. It's either 1-866, 1-8888, But what I noticed is that they called me. It must have been a robocall thing, just going and going. Well, the last 2 digits on the last 4 parts of the phone number changed for every call.
Oh.
Until I finally deleted it. I deleted it and blocked the original one, and then went through and blocked them all. And then that must have made it so that whatever whatever that move makes, that signal that it sends out, the binary code 1000111, whatever it is, they stop calling. But that goes to show you how tenacious they are.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in my office. I don't usually have my phone with me. I just brought it because I knew I was going to be talking with Carolyn. But the other thing was they kept calling.
Yeah.
And then I saw a number that looked very familiar. This is the other thing. After that number went away, then they started calling me from a 916, which is Sacramento area. I know a lot of people in Sacramento. So I kept looking at it thinking, is it this person? Now, I told you I lost my phone, so I don't know who it is. This person, that person. But when I sent the text asking them to tell me who they were, no text came back and they stopped calling me.
Yes.
So I knew it wasn't anybody that I knew. And then I deleted it. Delete the conversation, block the number, because if you leave it, I found this out, my son tipped me to this. If you leave it on your phone, whatever portal that message came through, whatever portal that call came through, now it can come through to talk to your device.
Yeah. Yes.
Believe it or not, there are not many protections for us, but we're being forced.
Yes.
You saw AT&T wanted to get rid of landlines, and I'm so happy the government said no, but we're being forced to use this.
Yes.
And there's something not quite right about that.
Yes.
And we need to question it. It is a convenience. It shouldn't be the primary form of communication that we have. Carolyn just hit it on the nose earlier. In person, walk in.
Yeah, I love it.
People. I know it's a pain in the butt if you don't want to. I'm even, I shop a lot on Amazon. And I've been thinking a lot about that and about coming off of there. Just because.
Plus another thing, speaking of, and we could go on and on and on, and I know we're done with time, but even with Amazon, they're such a huge conglomerate. So some of the things you think you're buying, I'm speaking of like vitamins and things like that, you don't know where those vitamins are coming from. You don't know how authentic it is. You don't know. So it's better to do things in person. The old-fashioned way works. I'm a better person because of what these criminals they force the goodness out of me, even more goodness and gracious, and they just force greatness, period. And that's all I got to say about that, Michelle. And Michelle, thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome.
The last final thought I have for your listening audience, don't give up. Find a way. Look for a miracle. Press until you win. Don't give up. Don't quit. And if you have questions, call Michelle. Michelle knows how to reach me, and I will answer your questions and help guide you through it. You're not alone. You're not by yourself.
So
I got your back.
In the comment area down below, please put your questions. And what Felicia will do is make sure that we get them, and we'll have Carolyn back on just to answer the questions. We'll do a big Q&A. So, and if you have any specific questions about what we've talked about today, which is impersonation scam, financial scam, robocalls, any of those kinds of things that affect who you are and your ability to navigate and live your best life, please write that question down there, and we will have Carolyn back just to answer those questions. It'll be great to have her back for that. Remember who you are. Remember that life is sacred. It is a sacred journey. And if you are someone out there right now that is experiencing depression or thinks that suicide is the way you want to go, dial 988. Text, dial, call 988 and talk to those incredible angels on the other side of the phone or wherever, and they will get you through this moment. You say the world is better off without you. That's a lie. It isn't. You are here for something mighty special. And just because right now you're feeling doom and gloomy, it'll be all right. Reach out, 988. Okay, friends, you know how we end Life is a Sacred Journey. First of all, thank Carolyn Brent in the chat for sharing her story, because it takes a lot of courage to share stories like that, because you're always worried. I'm not anymore, but I know sometimes I do get worried about what people are going to think and how it's going to impact ASAP, because then they're going to want to, say ASAP is not in good hands and all that. What did my friend say this morning? I love it. All that rackaroo, rackaroo. We don't care about the rackaroo. What we care about is the truth. Yes. And what Carolyn has shared with you this morning is a truth that we're living in a different time, where your privacy is really getting ratcheted away by people who don't even care, don't know you, and don't give a damn about you. And then when you pick up the phone to call and to try to get the help and support that you need, because this is such a new phenomenon, people are like, they feel helpless. They don't know how to help. And then they start to ask you questions that make you think you've lost your ever-loving mind. Yeah. Well, that's a whole bunch of rackaroo that you need to get rid of. And so Carolyn's going to write a book about this, I know. And there will be a Lifetime movie about this, I know. I hope I get a bit part in it.
Oh, me too.
And she'll be back to share more. But Carolyn, before you leave this last second, just one last word about that courage thing for the audience, and we'll say goodbye.
Well, the courage, do not be afraid of what you can't see. What you have to do, you got to walk by faith and not by sight. So that's the courage that comes out of me. And I'm always surrounding myself with positive people like you, Michelle, positive people like the lady that I'm living with, positive people like my church family, positive. I take my daddy's picture every place I go. You see, I take my daddy's picture, and he's saying, Carolyn, don't stop. Find a way. Press on till you win. So I encourage you, you're not by yourself and you're not crazy. This is real stuff. And one day we will have things in place and when I say we, legislation will have, cyber police officers to help the private citizens. And that's all I got to say. It's all good. And I will meet you on the other side of this story, because this is almost coming to an end.
Wow. So we've had Dr. Carolyn Brent, author, public speaker, aging advocate, all of that, and good friend of Life is a Sacred Journey, and therefore a good friend to Michelle Pope. So you've heard her story. You all in your own lives have probably experienced some of this, if not all, and I pray not. But you have an opportunity now to protect yourself. So you've heard the information, you've written some stuff down. So now take a deep breath and get your life in order. Make sure that you don't make yourself vulnerable to the victimization of somebody who you don't even know for your identity, your money, and your purpose and your life. Okay? All right, go out and hug a tree, pet a cat, pet a dog, hug yourself.
Yes. Oh. Thank you, Michelle.
We used to do that in the schoolyard. I'm gonna marry so and so.
Yeah.
Go out and do that.
Amen.
You don't even have to get married. You can just hug yourself and love yourself. I am Michelle Pope, and you have joined another Life is a Sacred Journey, and we care about you, we love you, and we want you to be the best you can be. And as my friend last week said, go out and glow. Yes. Go out and glow.
Yes.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.